Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miss Evans and Miss Kuvetakis's sixth grade English class. I'm
Yay.
Kuvetakis,
I'm Miss Evans.
and this year in sixth grade, we are exploring the overall theme of belonging. So we're going to zoom into what this year looks like. So over the course of the year, Ms. Evans and I will help students develop a critical literacy to examine and ask questions about our world. And we're going to be doing this while we practice academic writing skills, like focusing on mechanics and sentence structure to set them up for using that power of writing the rest of their lives. Our first mini unit was called Identity and Belonging. It was their intro to middle school. I'm sure you got a lot of questions at home about like, I don't know where to find my homework and stuff. This is a common experience in joining our community here on the PLP. And they got to practice getting into all the different assignments. They also came up with a list of collective values in the class and reflected on their own philosophies in their manifesto for my life. That is due this Friday. And I encourage you to read them. There's some good stuff in there. Ooh, go into the next one.
All right, so we are going to be reading a few different novels over the course of the year. The first one that we're going to look at is Ghost, talking about identity and then belonging. How can finding a community help me become the best version of myself? Okay, Ghost is a great book. I think I read it in a matter of a couple of hours. Quick little blurb: Ghost wants to be the fastest sprinter on his elite middle school track team, but his past is slowing him down. So we will be able to look at that online with our online book account through Sora. And the final products that we're going to be making, character development paragraphs.
Right. Our next book will be exploring family and belonging. It's called The Epic Fail of Arturo Zamora. We're asking the questions, how can families impact their communities together? How do we define family? The blurb summary of this is save the restaurant, save the town, get the girl, make abuela proud. Can 13-year-old Arturo Zamora do it all, or is he in for a big epic fail? We're gonna find out. For our final product for this, students will be able to choose different creative options responding to the book artistically, matching perhaps their major or another art form. And this is also going to intro essay for the year, looking at what the message of this book is, and students will show how the author develops that.
All right, then we are going to go into activism and belonging with I Am Malala. What is worth fighting for? How can activism help me understand my purpose? These are questions we'll be looking at as we read. A blurb: when the Taliban took control of the Swat Valley in Pakistan, one girl spoke out. Malala Yousafzai refused to be silent and fought for her right to an education. So we will be doing our personal memoir and an activism poster.
After Malala, we're looking at voice and belonging with the book Front Desk by Kelly Yang. How can I use my voice to advocate for myself and those I care about? This is a story of a Chinese immigrant who finds her voice to advocate for her family and community, particularly in her writing. A really beautiful story about how people can gain mastery of language and use it to defend people. The final product, we're going to do some community research on topics students are really interested in, and we will be writing to our local legislators, specifically Congress people, about those issues.
And at the end of the year, we're going to wrap up with some poetry, talking about artistic belonging and identity. How can poetry help us make sense of our place in the world? Our final products will be a poetry anthology and a poem analysis essay.
And that wraps up text for the year. Actually, before we do this, why don't we look at a typical day in Zoom English life? So students come on in, and this is an example of a day. So they're going to join the Zoom link, and every day they're going to go to goformative.com, and looking at this picture down here, this is where they answer their warm-up for the day. And it just activates their thinking right away. Here's an example of a warm-up we did last week. We'll go over the agenda for the day. We'll introduce a text and some thinking questions. So recently it's been a lot of like navigating how the PLP works, how students will do this stuff. And last week we started going into students doing this discussion in small group discussion as a full class. But like once we start Ghost, not this week, but next week, students will do some close reading of that. They'll discuss their reading in small groups and discuss in a full class. Some quick information about myself and Miss Evans. This is an extensive collage that I went over with the students. I'll just go over some highlights here. My background is in English and theater, and comparative literature and theater. I studied at UC Berkeley and got my master's at St. Mary's in teaching English with arts integration, with an arts integration emphasis. My husband and I met at UC Berkeley, and we are expecting a child in November. So November is when, woo, they will head out on maternity leave, and they will have Miss Evans as their primary English teacher through end of March. And then we'll be back at it together. Students should know that I love reading their writing. So my background is as a playwright. So Trailer Park Gods is one of my plays, and same with Oreo Carrot Danger. I like to tell students about Oreo Carrot Danger because it's about my specific background with obsessive compulsive disorder. And some students have anxiety and other anxiety disorders, and feel comfortable when there's an adult to talk about it with. And in this class, and as we carry ourselves in the world, it's really important that I want my students to know that Black Lives Matter, and that as we teach this year and develop our critical literacy, that remains at the heart of all we do. Ms. Evans.
I second everything that she said. But just quick little blurbs here about myself. So I have been teaching for close to 7 years now, I think. Mostly in middle school education with English and history. About me and my pictures, we have my pup over there on the far left. His name is Sir Didymus. He makes a lot of appearances during class. And last year I was out on maternity leave in November, and I had my son, who is now 10 months old, Miles. He also makes some appearances. And just letting everybody know that I am here for them no matter what. And I love anything Disney. Bring it on. That's all. Just give me all the Disney movies, the Pixar movies. I love them all.
All right, and we are going to now switch over to look at our syllabus and just a couple more resources on CocoSpot.org. How are we doing on time? One way to find our syllabus and what we do in English is also, by going to CocoSpot.org. So it will take you to this page. You can go to who we are. You can go to teachers, and you can find this information by going to my page or Miss Evans's, will go to mine since I am the one talking right now. This is also a good way if you're in a pinch and can't find a Zoom link. There's a Zoom link here. We'll go into English 6, and then you'll find all of what we just talked about and our syllabus.
Woo.
Woohoo! Syllabus also has links to almost everything, notably Google Classroom, our Google Classroom page. That's where we post what we're doing for the week. Though summitlearning.org is where students complete all of their stuff. So these are probably what they're using most. Of course, they're using Zoom as well. And we also just want to point out that Fridays, 3:30 to 4:20, or anytime by appointment, students can G-chat or email us, and we're happy to set up a Zoom meeting with them. But that's where Miss Evans and I are hanging out in a room, happy to talk to students and help. It's been really fun when students have come so far, and we get to see them in smaller groups.
If you would like to add yourself to your students' Google Classroom, please feel free to do so. That way you get the emails too when anything happens.
Yes, absolutely. So we have our course description. Miss Evans and I are proud of our credo. We want to take time right now because we know you have a lot of questions about grading. So Miss Evans is going to talk a little bit about how grading works. And this is true of all the academic classes. Math is a tiny bit different, but science, history, and English will all follow this rubric.
All right, so this is when you get onto the PLP. And right now you'll notice that it's all blue. And that just means that they haven't been done yet, right? So as you guys start our projects, which will be worth 80% of your grade, those are the top lines. They will be, the checkpoints go through first, and the checkpoints tell us or work to get to the final product. As your student completes them, we will be grading them. Now, if they are receiving a green, that means awesome, fantastic, they can continue on, they're doing a wonderful job, they're where they should be. As it gets down to about yellow, that means that there needs to be something that we need to fix in the checkpoint. Maybe something's a little off. And if it's red, it's most likely that your student hasn't done it yet, or maybe forgot to request feedback, which seems to be a big issue at the beginning of the year, which is fine. We just need to go back and do so. Now, when it comes to your projects at the end, so you do your checkpoints all to get to your project, these scores at the top is where you're going to see something different, right? So instead of receiving a 96, you might get a 4, okay? If you are seeing a lot of 2s, that means that you are getting there, right? You are so close to your cog skill of getting to 4. Your goal as the year goes on is to move up. So many of us are going to start with something a little bit lower, and that does not reflect anything on you as a human. That just means you're in 6th grade and that's where you belong, okay? Just continue on, keep working, and they will go up. We are a school of mastery, so you can continue to work, continue to improve. Your power focus areas are worth 14% of your grade, and your additional focus areas are 6. Those are the 2 lines underneath of your project. As your student, if you see the green line, or the blue line, sorry, the blue line continue on, that will tell you when your student needs to pass those focus areas. And in addition to that, if they do pass, it'll turn green, they can continue on. If they do not, it will turn red once the line passes.
So, Thank you so much. We are around for questions. You may email us. You may have students G-chat us. Come on by with them to office hours. We're excited to work with you as a learning community this year and know that so much is uncertain. And there are a lot of obstacles in learning, and we really want to team up together for your students.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're always around. And understanding, we know that life happens and we're all navigating this right now. So patience, we have plenty of, and we appreciate your patience as well. Thank you.
Thank you.